Hello, everyone, and welcome back to Talk Sara English. I'm Sarah, and today I want you to slow down for a moment, relax your shoulders, and remember something important. You are exactly where you should be in your English journey, and nothing is wrong with you, even if speaking English still feels hard.
And I'm Mike.
Thank you so much for being here today because this episode speaks directly to many learners who feel tired, confused, or disappointed after studying English for a long time without seeing the results they want.
Today, we are talking about how to train your brain to think in English, and this topic feels secret because many learners are never told the honest truth about why thinking in English feels so difficult. They don't want you to know this simple reality.
It sounds dramatic, but once you understand how the brain really works, everything starts to make sense and English stops feeling like a mystery.
This episode is made for A1, A2, and B1 learners, so please don't worry about big words or fast speaking. We're here to support you and guide you gently.
Sarah, let me ask you something that almost every learner asks at some point. Why do I understand English, but I can't speak English?
I hear this question every single day. Learners tell me, Sarah, I know many words, I studied grammar for years, I can read and listen, but when I want to speak, my brain freezes and my mouth feels empty.
And in that moment, learners feel stress, fear, and shame.
Yes, and that feeling is very heavy because people start blaming themselves and thinking, maybe I am not smart enough, maybe English is not for me.
But that belief is false.
You are not the problem. Your brain is simply following an old habit.
Your brain learned your first language in a natural, emotional, and safe way.
That language lives deep inside your brain, and it feels comfortable and automatic.
So when English appears, your brain tries to protect you.
It says, stop, think, translate, check grammar, be careful, don't make mistakes.
And schools teach this method, so your brain believes this is correct.
But here's the painful truth. Translation is the enemy of speaking.
Translation slows you down, and speaking needs speed and flow.
When you translate, you think in your language, change the words into English, check grammar, worry about pronunciation, and the conversation moves on without you.
Then you feel quiet, small, and invisible.
This creates fear, and fear blocks learning.
And after many moments like this, your brain connects English with stress.
Now, let's talk about one of the biggest lies in English learning.
Many learners believe this lie without knowing it.
They are told, first, learn grammar, then memorize vocabulary, and one day, speaking will come naturally.
But that day often never comes.
Learners wait to feel ready, but readiness does not arrive by studying more rules.
Because language is not information.
Language is a skill.
And skills are trained through use, not through waiting.
Your brain does not learn language from rules alone. It learns through patterns, repetition, sound, and emotion.
If you always translate, your brain learns translation, not English.
And this is the part they don't want you to know.
To think in English, you must stop asking your brain to be perfect.
You must allow mistakes, strange sentences, pauses, and silence.
Mistakes are not failure. They are signals that learning is happening.
When you make mistakes, your brain is building new connections.
At first, this feels uncomfortable.
Your brain feels tired, confused, and slow.
But that discomfort is growth.
Slowly, simple words start coming without translation.
Then short sentences appear naturally.
And one day, you speak and realize you did not translate.
That moment feels powerful, freeing, and real.
And when that happens, English stops feeling like a test.
It starts feeling like a tool.
A tool to express thoughts, feelings, and ideas.
And that is when confidence begins to grow.
Not from perfection, but from permission.
Permission to speak imperfect English.
Permission to sound human.
And permission to learn naturally.
This is how the brain truly learns language. Now, let's go deeper into how your brain learns to think in English, because many learners think it is something magical or special. But in reality, it is a habit that you train slowly with patience and repetition, and understanding how the brain works changes everything.
Yes, and this is very important because when learners think it is talent or intelligence, they give up too early and feel frustrated for no reason.
Your brain learns what you ask it to do again and again, like a muscle that grows stronger with training.
If you always ask your brain to translate, it will become an expert at translation.
But if you give your brain repeated exposure to thinking directly in English, it will start creating new pathways that allow English to come naturally.
At first, this feels strange, uncomfortable, and even scary, and many learners quit at this stage.
They feel lost and confused because suddenly English feels harder than before, and their mind resists change.
But actually, this is a good sign because it means your brain is rewiring itself.
The old habit of translation is gone, and a new path is being built.
Think of it like walking through a dark forest. At first, you don't see the way, but as you keep moving, the path becomes clear.
Another mistake learners make is trying to think in perfect full sentences too early.
Yes, this puts too much pressure on the brain and makes it panic.
Thinking in English starts with words, not sentences.
Simple words like want, go, tired, happy, eat, sleep, run, big, small.
Your brain needs permission to be simple at first and to connect ideas without worrying about rules.
Many learners feel embarrassed to use simple words and think simple English is bad English.
But simple English is powerful English and allows your brain to move faster.
Children start with simple words and no one says they are stupid.
But adults are very hard on themselves and want to sound perfect immediately.
And that pressure blocks learning instead of helping it.
So, one secret is to talk to yourself in simple English throughout the day.
For example, when you wake up, you can say, I am tired. I want coffee.
Or when you go outside, you can say, "It is cold today. I need a coat."
These thoughts do not need grammar rules. They need connection and repetition.
Another mistake learners make is trying to translate their personality directly into English.
Yes, this is interesting because in your native language, you may be funny, emotional, confident, or quiet, but in English, you feel like a different person.
That is normal and temporary.
Your English personality is young and needs time to grow.
Many learners quit because they do not feel like themselves in English and think they will never sound natural.
But that feeling fades with consistent practice.
Another important point is speed.
Thinking in English is not about being 100% correct. It is about being fast enough to keep going.
Slow English with confidence is always better than perfect English with long pauses.
When you speak slowly and without fear, your brain stays calm and learns faster.
Fear actually blocks learning, and safety enhances it.
This is why kind self-talk is essential.
If you constantly say, "I am bad at English," your brain believes it and blocks itself.
If you say, I am learning English, your brain relaxes and begins to build new connections.
Words influence emotions, and emotions influence learning.
Another secret they don't teach you is that grammar is not the first step.
Grammar is a tool, not the engine.
The engine is exposure and practice.
Listening to English every day allows your brain to recognize patterns naturally.
Speaking, even imperfectly, allows your brain to create strong neural pathways.
Silence does not build the brain pathways needed for thinking in English.
Mistakes do.
Many perfect students struggle because they are afraid to make mistakes.
But language grows when rules bend and mistakes are embraced.
Thinking in English means allowing chaos at first and trusting the process.
Confusion is part of the journey, not a failure.
You may mix words, forget words, stop mid-sentence, or sound awkward.
That does not mean failure. It means your brain is working and reorganizing.
Just like muscles feel sore when they grow stronger, your brain feels tired and strange when it builds new paths.
Rest, repetition, and patience are your allies, not pressure and criticism.
Once learners understand this, they stop fighting their own brain.
And they begin working with it, allowing English to flow more naturally.
Another key point is daily practice, even in small moments, because the brain remembers repetition more than long study sessions.
Even 5 minutes of speaking or thinking in English every hour is better than one long session once a week.
Another mistake is comparing yourself to others.
Yes, comparison creates fear and shame and slows down learning.
Your brain grows at its own pace, and your English journey is unique.
Focusing on your own growth creates momentum and confidence.
Another tip is to label objects around you in English and think simple sentences about them.
For example, when you see a cup, you can think, I drink water from the cup.
Or when you open the fridge, you can think, I want milk, I need food.
These small exercises train your brain to think in English naturally.
Another thing is to describe actions while doing them.
For example, if you walk to the store, you can say, I am walking. I am going to buy food. I see many people.
This creates constant mental connections and helps your brain stay in English mode. Reading aloud simple sentences also reinforces speaking habits.
Listening and repeating without worrying about mistakes allows your brain to hear patterns and create pathways for thinking.
Even talking to yourself in the mirror is a powerful tool for building confidence.
The key is consistency, repetition, and acceptance of imperfection.
When you combine all these habits, your brain slowly rewires to think in English without forcing translation.
This is the natural, organic way the brain learns and remembers language.
And every day you practice, every small thought in English builds momentum, strength, and flow.
Mistakes, confusion, simple sentences, repetition, self-talk, speed, exposure, they all work together to train your brain to think in English naturally.
Now that we understand how the brain learns, it is time to focus on real strategies you can use every day to train your brain to think in English naturally and without fear.
Yes, and these strategies are simple but very powerful because they follow the way the brain actually works and not the way traditional schools teach.
First, start with small moments of English every day, even if it is only a few minutes, because repetition is the engine of learning, and consistency beats long sessions.
For example, when you wake up, think simple thoughts in English like, I am tired, I want water, or I feel happy today, and allow your brain to form natural patterns.
Second, talk to yourself about your day using simple words and sentences, and do not worry about mistakes.
For example, when you cook, you can say, I cut the vegetables. I put them in a pan. I am cooking food for myself. And your brain begins to connect thinking with English words automatically.
Third, describe actions around you and objects you see throughout the day to keep your brain in English mode.
For example, when you leave the house, you can think, I walk to the store. I see many people. I feel the wind is cold.
Fourth, allow yourself to make mistakes and embrace awkward sentences, because this is the true sign your brain is training and building new pathways in English.
Remember, mistakes are your friend, not your enemy, because without them, your brain stays in translation mode and nothing changes.
Fifth, focus on speed instead of perfection.
It is better to speak quickly with simple words than to pause forever trying to make everything perfect.
The brain learns from flow and movement, not from hesitation and overthinking.
Sixth, Listen to English every day and repeat what you hear, even if it is just a few words or sentences.
Repetition without translation strengthens connections directly in English.
7th, use kind self-talk and encouragement because your brain reacts to emotion.
Saying, I am learning English, I can improve, I am practicing, helps your brain feel safe and ready to learn.
Fear, shame, and self-criticism block the brain, but confidence, permission, and calmness open it.
8th, do not compare yourself to others because every brain learns differently and your English journey is unique.
Focusing on your own growth creates momentum and allows the brain to progress naturally.
9th, label objects and actions in your environment in English and think simple sentences about them.
For example, when you see a chair, you can think, I sit on the chair. I like the chair. It is comfortable.
10th, combine all these habits with daily speaking practice, even if it is only 5 minutes at first.
Talking to yourself, repeating sentences, describing objects and actions, listening and allowing mistakes all work together to train the brain to think in English.
Remember, the brain does not learn language by translating, memorizing rules, or being perfect.
It learns by connection, repetition, exposure, emotion, and use.
The more you practice these habits, the more natural English will feel, and the more your brain will switch from translation mode to thinking directly in English.
And this does not happen in one day. It takes patience, consistency, and acceptance of imperfection.
You may feel awkward, confused, or slow at first, and that is completely normal.
That discomfort is proof your brain is growing and building real thinking pathways in English.
Little by little, simple words become sentences, sentences become thoughts, and thoughts become natural English expression without translation.
Your confidence grows, your fluency improves, and speaking English starts to feel easier and more enjoyable.
Always remember, mistakes are your teacher. Simplicity is your friend, and consistency is your power.
Thinking in English is not about perfection, it is about movement, courage, and practice.
Every small habit, every self-talk sentence, every description of objects or actions is training your brain.
And over time, your brain will automatically think in English without effort or fear.
This is the real way to train your brain, the method they don't want you to know, simple but extremely effective.
Anyone can do this, no matter your level, age, or past experience, because the brain is designed to learn when given the right signals.
So give yourself permission to make mistakes, speak simply, move quickly, and enjoy the process.
Consistency, repetition, emotion, exposure, and acceptance are the secret ingredients.
And when you practice this daily, English will stop feeling like a challenge and start feeling like a natural tool for thinking, speaking, and expressing yourself.
Remember, your brain is powerful and it can adapt to think in English naturally if you give it the right environment, habits, and permission to learn.
Trust the process, be patient, and celebrate every small step, every word you speak, and every thought you form in English.
You are learning, growing, and training your brain every day, and that is what really matters.
Thank you so much for listening today and practicing these habits with us. Remember, every small effort counts. Your brain is learning, and English thinking is possible for you.
Keep practicing, stay consistent, trust yourself, and your English will grow stronger and more natural every single day.
And that's it for today's episode. We hope this gives you clarity, motivation, and confidence to train your brain and think in English naturally.
Thank you for joining us, and remember, English is a journey, mistakes are lessons, simplicity is strength, and your brain is ready to learn if you give it the chance.
Keep speaking, keep thinking, keep growing, and enjoy the process.